And now, our feature presentation.
Hey guys, I'm Scarfy.
I'm Naka.
And I am Krüz.
and welcome to Subwuffer Entertainment, a determinedly drunk, geeky, and cheerful podcast where wolves, we house in a tree, and we entertain, bringing you all latest entertainment news. S.E.T's a lot like a music appreciation class. We talk about what's going on in certain topics and see how people react to them in certain ways. And that song that you're listening to was Giovanni de la Palestrina, Kyrie. And we just decided to choose something, well, I decided to choose something that was not going to get us banned for whatever fucking reason, because I don't know what it is.
Blocked in 245 countries.
What was blocked in 245 countries?
No, I'm saying you had to pick something that wasn't going to get us blocked in 245 countries, including the entirety of the U.S.
countries. Because if all of the countries are in, let's say, places they don't get to, maybe I assume. Well, maybe some people. I think some people said they were from South Africa, but like if we're banned in Nigeria, I don't think it matters that much. Mexico, I mean, sure.
Anyway, guys, S.E.T has been brought to you by Streamlabs. We are a non-profit podcast, but we use this as our go-to for making more episodes and help them be bigger and better than ever before by purchasing equipment or other visual means. Please do not feel obligated. We are not asking for money to pay the rent, but if you have the heart to donate, it is greatly appreciated.
How are you doing? I know Shutter, you're get out the float. How are you doing?
Forewarning, if you hear me do that again, that's because I am back at my house now, and I don't have the same desk that I used to have for a long time. So my chair, the chair here, is at a height such that my knees are right at the base of the table. So if you hear that, just understand that's the reason why.
I mean, we make do with what we got. I mean, I had that crummy old desk.
I have better internet.
How many years now?
I guess that's good. Yeah,
my
desk was falling apart. Yeah,
I like how you burped during our opening spiel, Krüz. I heard it. And the stream did too. That's twice already.
Again, I want to get a T-shirt of this.
And?
Like, seriously,
it's gonna be like the fucking trumpet meme, but like just not gonna eye on either side, just burping, or probably Shutter too. Fuck it, let's put Shutter in there too.
Anyway,
and then you just like covering your ears or something. It's like.
Anyway, guys, so we took a break last week. I hope you guys realized that we took a break because we had
I had a funeral.
You realize that because you weren't here.
And I had some very important business to attend to. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We don't have time to delay, so why don't we get started with Krüz with music. Krüz.
I want to say something right now. You may notice there's something a little bit different on our main visual right now. I will get into that a little bit later, but I'm just putting that out there in case anybody notices anything. We will talk about that in a little bit. Anyway, please go on.
For clarification, it's not the Isle of Man, but we're going to talk about something that is from around there, or was, unfortunately. Ginger Baker, the drummer of rock band Cream, has passed away at 80 years old. I included this link to this article because it had more information about him personally. And I honestly may have only listened to Sunshine of Your Love. And actually, one of the trailers later in the show had that song, fittingly enough. But I can also say that my dad was a big fan of Cream. He liked Ginger Baker as a drummer. His second favorite, of course, to Neil Peart of Rush. He was known for pushing limits and had a capital A attitude. Heavy metal was born from blues rock, although the article says that Ginger, I think it was this article, Ginger apparently didn't really like that, but it didn't change the fact that he inspired many, including Jay Weinberg of Slipknot, who I saw over the summer. Assuming that because Jay Weinberg tweeted, "Thank you, Ginger Baker." Speaking of, think of how insane drummers in heavy metal are now. Chris Adler, ex-Lamb of God. Gene Hoglan of Testament, a.k.a. The Drum Machine. Danny Carey of Tool. Dave Lombardo, ex-Slayer. G. Anzalone, Dragon Force. Mario Duplantier of Gojira. Thomas Hawk of Meshuggah. And Alex Bennett of Trivium, just to name a few. Considering that Ginger Baker, for his time, was that drummer. So he really pushed the limits of what, at least of the story I'm led to believe is like he pushed the limits of what the drums could do, like how it would sound. And if Simply Sunshine of Your Love is anything to go by, then yeah, he's got chops, as some other people would say. But yes, rest rock in peace, Ginger Baker.
All right, so just wanted to let you know, I actually had to listen to Sunshine of Your Love to actually understand what song that was, because I had never heard of the title of that song. But then it began with the opening,
the song.
with the opening intro. Da 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 da. You know the song that the song that John Bender plays in The Breakfast Club.
Oh, I didn't realize it's in that movie.
It's in Guitar Hero 3.
It's not in that movie. He literally imitated the opening tune to it in the film.
I saw that movie like a while ago, but I don't know.
Yeah, but it's in Guitar Hero 3. That's where I remember it from.
Yeah, and that's how I told my dad. He got a laugh out of that because I'm like, this song, and he's like, I grew up with this shit, and then that's how I ended up finding Blue Oyster Cult, who I also really enjoy their music. That's kind of also another band where heavy metal got its origin.
But that's really all I have to say regarding Ginger Baker. I'm sure he was a fantastic drummer for the time, and I hope he does find if there is I guess afterlife, he finds his place in a different band that will
honestly, because probably don't go to heaven. Hell is going to have one hell of a super group.
Oh,
because think about it. You got Lemmy, Dio, just to name two of them. You got quite many.
Anyway,
and it's Dimebag, fucking, and now his brother Vinny, unfortunately.
Anyway, Naka, anything you want to say regarding Ginger Baker?
It's always just it's always a sad day when you lose a musician that's been so heavily respected by so many people, and where people got their inspiration from in these successful bands. Yeah. And hopefully the family is all right, and hopefully the band will live on.
I mean, I think Cream actually, I think, wasn't around for that long because of conflicting attitudes, at least between Ginger Baker and Clapton. But Clapton, of course, had a successful solo career. I don't know about the other guy, but I know Clapton's still around. I don't know if he's made stuff recently, but yeah, I think Clapton, I don't know if he said anything, but he probably at least has taken note of this and been like, he was an asshole, but he was a good asshole. When you work in a restaurant that's owned and primarily employed with people from Iran, the things they argue about are kind of funny. At least they're talking about Iraq War, and they're like Saddam, he was an asshole, but he was a good asshole.
Anyway,
enough politics. But
yes, you're looking a little light today in music, Krüz, aren't you?
Yeah, a little light, but stuff will be forthcoming, and come November, we'll have December. Well, I guess projected December albums, notwithstanding the annual Krüz's Top 10 list. And again, pay in mind, two former winners are on this list: Sabaton and Overkill. So we'll see how that goes down. Yes, 2017 was a tough year because it was Dragon Force, Trivium, Overkill,
Metallica. Because Hardwired came out in 2017, I believe.
Yeah, it was late 2016. Yeah, but
I would consider it 2017, but that's just me.
Yeah, it's I guess when you're talking about like the whatever business year cycles,
the award season business.
I also didn't realize until like a few weeks ago that calendar year means like how like the year in relation to like its actual order versus a year of time, like 365 days itself. I don't know why, but I never thought about that, and I just realized that like a few weeks ago, and I felt really fucking dumb. Just thought you'd all like to know that.
Yeah, plus I think an album that you would probably take into consideration for that list if it does come out this year is S&M 2 by Metallica.
Yes,
I went to that screening the other night because it is basically it's just a screening of a concert Oh my god, I
I don't
really
know, 'cause-
enjoyed that. I nearly lost my voice
Yeah.
because I was singing along to pretty much everything I knew.
Yeah, I don't
And
know. As
there's
I've
one
never had a. I'm sorry. I've never had a live album like that made the list, but this might change that because I don't know. I haven't seen it yet, and I don't know if when because I don't know. My friend and I are gonna try to see Joker tomorrow, so don't say fucking anything about it. Yeah.
But before, like, one last thing about S&M2, there is one track on there it's a solo piece by somebody from the SFSO, and it's probably the best track on the entire thing. That's just me though.
Primarily orchestra led, like the intro from the original one.
Yeah, well, there's that, but this is a standalone person from the orchestra playing one track on his own.
Very
And
cool.
then, Lars join, and then, somebody else joins in.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's move on.
Sounds like you might be describing anesthesia, but that's a bygone era. But if you don't, you lose things. But the way to prevent that is to save them. And nobody seems to really drive that point home better than indie rock band Foals, declaring for the second time that not everything not saved will be lost. This phrase, of course, used to scare me until I started using Google Drive for everything that I do for schoolwork because, it just saves automatically. Unfortunately, that also means that it saves your mistakes. So if you... But I saw the title of this album and I remembered that I believe, covered part 1. So here's part 2. Fuck it. Padding those stats. The cover looks pretty cool. It's almost like a... not quite... I guess I could kind of compare it to Master of Puppets a little bit because of the cross in the field, but it's a little less violent looking, but it's also pretty cool in how it's structured. I think the first one was of like a house or something. Indie Rockets will be delivering the rest of this album on October 18th. Got my Maryland accent coming out because I was in Baltimore earlier today. And the Ravens won today. Hell yeah. So Black Bull is linked, a song that I would not have found out of place on the soundtrack of NFS U2, as Knuckle probably would know, as Need for Speed Underground 2, one of the first games I ever played really on when I got a GameCube when I was like 8 years old. It was one of my favorites to play. They had a really good... the soundtrack of the last Need for Speed game I had was like, it was okay. It had a good flow, but it was all like electronic stuff. But the NFS U2 had a good blend of hip hop and rock and some heavy metal. It sounds like it would have been fitting on there. There's Runner and Into the Surf. And for those interested, there will also be a documentary of the band available on Amazon Prime on November 15th. So if you're either a fan of them or you want to get a bigger look at what they do and how they've done it, then keep that in mind. Other than that, the album comes out October 18th.
Indie rock hasn't necessarily been my thing. Who's the band that sings the song "She's Lump, She's Lump, She's Lump" in my head?
I think, is that Presidents of the United States?
That might be Presidents.
Yeah, it's Lump. I know that they have a song called Lump.
Are you sure it's October 18th and not November 15th?
Well, that's that would be the Amazon Prime
those are two different
documentary.
things. So the album,
sorry.
the album's on October 18th. There's a documentary that will be on Amazon Prime on November 15th. So those are two separate things, but this was also attached to the news, so I figured I'd just mention that anyway.
Again, indie rock is just like it doesn't really sound good to me.
It's very hit or miss to me. I mean, I liked the song. I wouldn't go out of my way, let's do it, but I'm like, yeah, I didn't oppose hearing it. Sorry, hold on. There's a fucking glow stick on my foot from last night at the Furby. I went to a Furby.
Yeah, I remember all.
It was fun.
You met two of my favorite people in the whole wide world there.
Yeah, Dante Gracie. They're had a good little chat with them, and yeah, we had drank some beer, ate some good food, listened to some good music. So yeah, it was a good time. So I mean, I liked it, but I'm like, for me to actually go out and buy it, I might not, but I probably kind of want to go back and listen to the song again because I did a lot of this earlier than well. I listened to a lot of stuff earlier than usual, and have done a lot of stuff since then because I went, I did the classes, went home, went to the fur meet, then went to the Ravens game, and now we're here. Yeah. So I figure that's most of what I got to say about that. But I don't know. I might go back and look at part 1 again.
I don't have much to say about Foals. I'm pretty sure I listened to it, but I feel like it sounds like every other band I've ever listened to. And I don't mean to give it that. I don't mean to sound like an elitist because, oh, well, Scarpy, you haven't listened to a whole bunch of rock music, so of course you're going to say that. But it's like,
I know the whole, like, I guess stereotype of what indie rock sounds like. It's hard to have indie rock because either you end up being like, unfortunately it's a dying breed, but either you sound like that or you sound like fucking Neon Trees.
Right.
Which is basically Maroon 5 light.
Wait, is Neon Trees really bad?
They're very
gross.
Like
oh wow. Like worse than fucking Nickelback?
I don't know about that, but
Nickelback are heroes.
Nickelback.
Did you not see what they did on Twitter?
I know.
I saw that. I'm like,
does that mean we can dislike Nickelback a lot less now?
Yes.
I mean,
they're true heroes now.
I'm not going to go that far, but for any of you who don't know, or President, I don't know if it was him who actually put the thing together, but I would like
probably somebody else on his team. But
I would like to think he has a personal meme advisor for any of the stuff he wants to put out. I would gladly apply for such a role, for a meme advisor to the president. That would be quite profitable, I guess, in this day and age, where memes control politics, I guess.
Yeah.
So
anyway,
now
I don't have much to say about Foals, Naka.
I've already said my piece. It's just, eh.
Yeah.
Anyway. It's honestly like, I guess what I would have to say about my ratings on Untapped about beers. Not a lot of them blow me away, but a lot of them are decent. So yeah, like, this is one of the ones that is just over decent. I don't know. So let's go to Florida. Orlando, to be exact, because we have to walk the Florida skies.
I need to grab a beverage real quick. Go on with your piece.
All right. Grab your beverage of choice. Fuck, that was a bad one. Okay. So Orlando-based rock band Alter Bridge, they're back. For those fans of Godsmack, Papa Roach, Shinedown, Breaking Benjamin, etc., this is a day for you, my friend. So this is another case where about half the album was released already, and I should probably I figure I could run a Twitter poll and maybe talk about that at another point, where what's an ideal number of songs to release before the album comes out, because that's a thing. Of course, you couldn't have done that previously to, like, really digital music, at least that much. You could release singles, but not, But I usually tend to like 3. I think 3 is the magic number for songs released, because, especially of when they're released. But anyway, you have Wouldn't You Rather, which is linked, Pay No Mind, Take the Crown, In the Deep, and Dying Light, not to be confused with the first-person shooter game.
And In the Deep is not to be confused with Rolling in the Deep by Adele.
Oh,
yeah. We're just in the deep, we're not rolling.
Yes, we are not rolling in the deep. I did see Chester Bennington sing that as a cover. Oh my god. That was
Was
so
it really-
good.
Was
Oh,
it-
check, he did the cover of Adele.
Yeah, he did a cover of Rolling in the Deep, and his
when
voice
was
doing
this?
that song, that's amazing.
Wait, when was this?
This was like a bunch of years ago. This was like I want to find it real quick.
Well, that
but
happens.
I'll find it after the show. I don't want to do it in the middle
I
of
have
the show.
to
We
see
have
this
things
to
to
believe
do.
it.
Yeah, of course. Anyway, Krüz.
Gonna have to see that to believe it. But fun fact about this album: the artwork is by Dan Tremonti, the brother. And if that name sounds familiar, it's because it is that is the brother of guitarist of this band, Mark Tremonti, founder of his own band, Tremonti. Dimmadome, winner of the Dimmadome, whatever. And
Yes. Saturdays are made for dads. Anyway. Continue.
the French. Not stuff I listen to extensively, but it's good modern hard rock. I mean, I liked listening to the song. It's like, again, there's times where I sometimes like just listen to a little bit, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I get the gist of it, but I just let the whole song play.
Right.
Again, that's more frequent than not, just to get a sense of it. I like to at least get a sense of it before I like talk about it. But and on a sort of related note to what I mentioned, God, these voices all over the fucking gaff. Breaking Benjamin was quite good when they played with Five Finger Death Punch because I saw them in Tampa, Florida. This band, Alter Bridge, I know we're in the United States, but Alter Bridge will be touring in Europe with Shinedown, Seven Dust, and Raven Age this year. So yeah, anyone who is in Europe, I mean, I don't know if that same tour package is coming to the States, but it very well might, because usually they like to do different sets of like the same tour package. Sometimes they're exclusively European or American, but
Yeah.
that remains to be seen. The album will be coming your way on October 18th.
Before I get into Alter Bridge, I do want to mention Shinedown for a second, because as I was looking up songs under the YouTube music policy, I look up stuff by Shinedown, and it says this music is not available for you to put in your videos. If you do play it, you risk being banned. Basically, you risk getting blocked or muted worldwide. And it was like, what other bands do that? Oh, the band Pennywise, because I was thinking about using one of their songs as an OFP. Yeah, no.
Probably a big list.
But, there was like two Shinedown songs I had in particular. I was going to use either Devour or Second Chance. Those are like my go-to Shinedown
I'm not
songs
as
that I was going to
into
use.
them but two of my friends, actually a former member of our cover band and his brother are really big fans of them.
Anyway, Alter Bridge, I do like their music's actually pretty good. Would it? I might throw it in my Spotify playlist, which I've dubbed Pure Music.
I just chuck it
wow.
in there. Might just yeet it in there.
Yeah, but they're pretty good. And if you basically listen to what you like. And it's like, hey, if somebody wants to say, hey, you should try to listen to this, and you listen to it, and you say you don't like it, don't just be like, oh, I hate this. This sucks. Because I used to be a victim of that.
I'm like, I'm settled. I settle with saying a quick excuse you.
Right.
And like whoever's overrated, I'm like, excuse you. And then I just go on about my day.
Right.
So, further correction to my previous mistake, but we're going to have something special happening because I believe we did talk about, we were live when this was happening, right? The S&M. So
technically, yes.
Yes.
So there's going to be another thing that's in theaters, and that is the Slayer Repentless Killogy that we had announced previously. But the new announcement came out that it is going to be in theaters on November 6th. There is a link in the description for the availability. And I'm definitely going to try to check it out because I might actually be able to go this time. I don't know, because we had the thing is that I have a big capstone, like in our meetings, when we do meet, it is Wednesday night, and unfortunately the Metallica thing happened to be Wednesday night, so that's the reason I wasn't able to go then. But yeah, I'm because I'm more moved to this because I don't think I want to
have to order a copy of it to see it. The only thing I did that for recently was Into the Spider-Verse, because I just missed when it was in theaters. And for some reason, the word for Spider-Man or Spider-Verse because I saw the movie posters in Budapest in Hungarian, it looks like Pokemon.
Really?
It's
Wow.
it's like POK something whatever, because Hungarian is fucking gibberish. I mean, yes, I lived there for 4 months and learned Bupkis. I only learned Nembisielek Magyarul, which means I don't speak fucking Hungarian.
Ah.
Without fucking, of course. Faz is fucking Hungarian. But yeah, so yeah, go check out just click of am I drunk enough yet? Click on the video to see the link to see availability near you. It's pretty similar system to Metallica's, look up your location and show the nearest availability.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll give that a look, and yeah, hopefully
I've already done a Wednesday night band themed movie already this season.
And again, yeah, Shudder. I don't know if that means that you can't get out of work, or if your work day doesn't end at a time to see it, that it will still be out. It'll be out, a few days later. But this is a chance to just be a one and done, see it. But of course, you can. It will still be available, but this is just like a showing of it. Like, this is like when I went to see the premiere of Ruby, season 6 in Towson. And by the way, Ruby season 7 is coming out November 2nd. So yeah, I'm excited for that. So I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
And that will be it for music this week. It is a little bit of a slim week, but don't worry, we've got a bunch more coming at you at high speed.
At high speed for
I am. That's like whenever Lamar Jackson runs and the Ravens, I am speed. Dude, like, honestly, just watch videos of him run. He makes everyone else look slow. That's all.
Anyways, speaking of, trying to transition, today was supposed to be round 2, race 2 of the NASCAR playoffs, the 1,000 Bulbs 500 Talladega Speedway. Krüz, and I understand it's like you're trying to find an image somewhere, finding like the race date and everything.
How many racers does it take to fix 1,000 bulbs? Ooh.
But funnily enough, today is October 13th, 2019. The rest of the race is being run tomorrow, October 14th, 2019. So this technically works because they were able to get the entire first stage in.
I didn't realize that the date said that.
No, I wasn't gonna care anyway.
Oh, is this an updated image? Is that what it was?
No, this is not an updated image. This is the image you gave me.
No, I mean, was the image itself updated before?
No idea.
Wow, that was actually damn. That was actually
either the date was wrong, or
it's just last year's race date. I don't care.
It's 2018. I'm a fucking idiot.
But
I didn't see that.
The rest of the race is scheduled to run tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific time on NBCSN.
On Tuesday or Monday?
Monday. Today's Sunday. They got time to run it tomorrow.
Well, I mean, he got the day right at least, but
Yeah, technically you got the day right.
It was 2018. God fucking damn it.
Errors happen, man. It's okay.
The French.
Nako, what do you have to say?
I just explained what it was. I just explained what's going on.
Oh well.
You're asking me about my thoughts then after I've already explained my thoughts.
Oh. Well, anyway, we move on to something a little bit more
pressing and political.
Yeah. So okay.
The reason for the thing you may have witnessed recently.
Yes. There is a reason why.
It's made waves in the gaming news community and all that.
This hasn't just made waves in the gaming community. This has made waves in global news. Like, actual people have picked this up.
Quite symbolic, if nothing else, because, I was at, before I was actually before I actually made the decision which college to go to, we were doing that at American University in DC, and that's
when that last thing in the old HK was going on.
Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and mute my mic because I know you're going to be doing a serious topic.
I request that you mute your mic as well, Krüz, because I would prefer to get through this uninterrupted.
All right, will do. The floor is yours, good sir.
Thank you. Now, this is... The news story of this is Hearthstone player Blitzchung has been banned from professional play, and his winnings were stripped. But there is a bit of an update I will get into later. But fuck you, Blizzard. Fuck you, CCP, the communists, the Chinese Communist Party. Fuck you, Tencent. When one of your mission statements is every voice matters, and you have a statue out front on your American campus with a plaque that says every voice matters, and your own employees are covering that in response to this, you know you have fucked up. We're off the air in China now. You know why? You may notice our title, Lowered Social Score. You may notice that I had the Hong Kong flag up on our visuals. And just before we got the show actually started, I typed in the chat, Free Hong Kong. This... You guys remember the South Park episode that got a lot of traction last week, Banned in China?
Yeah, it was a great episode also because of the music. Sorry, just unmuted because of that.
Yeah.
I really love the music, but yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
I need some integrity.
That's fine.
Back
but, the protests in Hong Kong, the censoring of the Chinese people, and the censoring of, Hong Kong freedoms has been going on for a long time, but this has really, truly brought it out. After a professional match of Hearthstone, Hong Kong native Chung Ng-wai, also known as Blitzchung, was banned from professional play for a year and stripped of his tournament winnings after a post-match interview where he said, and this is translated, mind you, "Liberate Hong Kong, revolution of our age," in Chinese. And what does Blizzard do? They bow down to Tencent, which is a Chinese-owned company, and the CCP, banning him from professional play for a year and stripping him of his winnings damn near immediately. No warning, no, fine or some loss of earnings, just outright banning him for speaking out for his people and his beliefs. And there has been an update after Blizzard's really fucking shitty response that took them much fucking longer than they should have. They have reinstated his winnings, and they are forbidding him from playing professionally for 6 months, not a year, where they did come out in a tweet after the statement and saying, our influence in China had nothing to do with our decision, is an outright lie. Because when this thing first came around, Blizzard on their Western social media says, yes, he violated tournament rules, and that is the reason why we have banned him, and, as much as we support him speaking up for his people, it was against our rules. Whereas on Chinese social media, Blizzard said, and this is translated, mind you, that we are devastated that Blitzchung went out and said things like this. We abhor his decisions to talk about his country and the freedom of Hong Kong on our stream. We very much support China, and we are very prideful of our relations in China and the CCP. Not only did this go on, you may have heard that the NBA was under fire in China because the Houston Rockets owner had said on Twitter that he supports Hong Kong in their efforts for freedom and the freedom of speech. And what did the NBA do? They said that they were sorry, and they said they were sorry, quote unquote, but they wanted to still reestablish ties with China. Because, really, they don't have interest in 7 million people in their fight for freedom against an oppressive Chinese government. All they care about is money in their pockets from the Chinese. All they want to do is make a quick buck from these people, and anytime that there's an issue that the Chinese have with these companies, they always try to backpedal. and they always try to get those monies, to get the dollars from China back in their pockets. Most recently, speaking of the NBA, there was a preseason exhibition match in Philadelphia between the Philadelphia 76ers and the Guangzhou team, professional team from China. And there were a couple fans who were chanting "Free Hong Kong" and holding up signs saying "Free Hong Kong" that were shown on air. And they were kicked out of the game in the United States of America. You could go on and argue and say, freedom of speech only applies to public entities, not private companies, and the NBA is a private company. But what you have to understand is they weren't doing it to, and not necessarily express their freedom of speech. They were doing it because they support the people of Hong Kong, as do I. And it's come out more that, people on ESPN and ABC, they're not even allowed to talk nor mention anything Hong Kong related, or else they can be cut and basically taken off the air. Because ABC, Disney, ABC, they've got a lot of money in China. And instead of supporting human rights, they are rather supporting authoritarianism so they can keep money from China coming in. We have American corporations bowing down to Chinese authoritarianism so they can have some money. Again, this is exactly what South Park was on about with the episode Banned in China. And this is exactly because, Disney, Winnie the Pooh was banned in China because, some Chinese people said that, the Prime Minister, or the Supreme Overlord, as I like to call him, they said he looked like Winnie the Pooh. So they banned all of Winnie the Pooh. And they still have a strong relationship in China otherwise.
Quick question. I'm sorry. Quick question. Was that the same thing that got that one horror game banned from Steam? Because it was a Taiwanese horror game, and it looked like a pretty good horror game. But was that the same meme they were talking about?
I'm not exactly sure. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention about the Blitzchung situation was that there were two casters interviewing him who ducked their heads down below their monitors because they did not want to be associated with Blitzchung. They were banned too for a year from casting, and then they got reinstated. That got reduced to a 6-month ban.
Also, by the way, yeah, the name of the game is Devotion. I'm gonna go tap the mute again. All right.
Yeah. Activision, Blizzard, mind you, 5% of that company is owned by Tencent, which is a company in the heart of the CCP in China. And you see a lot of games, mobile games now, that have Tencent on them for, the mobile publishing. And Epic Games is owned 40% by Tencent. And I will give this to Tim Sweeney. If somebody ever said anything like, I stand with Hong Kong and I support, human rights and freedom of speech, and, if Tencent got all pissy, Tim Sweeney will will just say, it's like, you know what, they're standing up for what's right. It's my decision if I were to, cut ties with somebody because they said what they said, and I'm not going to do that. I'll give Tim Sweeney that and Epic Games that. But the original developer, Mark Kern, who does have, his own issues going on, the team lead for basically the original World of Warcraft, deleted his World of Warcraft account and subscription in protest. You have big problems. And Blizzard was, they were trying to prevent players from deleting their accounts, even through 4-step verification, which I believe is actually illegal in Europe. So, yeah. You have that out there. In my personal response, I immediately uninstalled Call of Duty Mobile since it has Tencent slapped right in the middle of the opening intro graphics. And I am pissed. I've finally put my goddamn foot down. I've finally said enough is enough. And when you have U.S. politicians from both sides saying that what China is doing is absolutely disgusting and we cannot allow this to happen, you know that there's bigger issue. It's not just censoring a video game player. It's not just censoring somebody for their beliefs when, it's not more than just censorship for one person because of what they said. Oregon Senator Ron Wyman, a Democrat, called out Blizzard saying that they humiliated themselves and stated that no American company should censor calls for freedom to make a quick buck. Republican Marco Rubio has stated that China using access to market as leverage to crush is basically using access to free market basically is allowing them to crush free speech globally. Because if the Chinese don't necessarily like something about this company, they will ask you to you need to either stop doing this or get out. You will not be able to do any business in China. And this was after the NBA and Blizzard controversies, as well as about TikTok potentially censoring videos about topics China doesn't like the Tiananmen Square. People all over the world are being power fucked in the ass because corporations are more willing to cave into China and the CCP rather than protect the rights and freedoms of everyone. You may wonder why I'm so passionate about this. From 2008 to 2009, I lived in Hong Kong for a year. I loved this place. I still consider it my home. You may ask yourself, why? Why do you consider Hong Kong your home if you consider America your home as well? I'm a firm believer that I can have two homes and two places that I can call my home. And I love America, and I love Hong Kong. And because you're stepping into my house, trying to pick a fight, trying to remove human rights from all these people, in my home, you're not getting a fight. You're not leaving without a fight from me. When you have 7 million people basically fighting for their lives on the streets because they want to live free and live in harmony, and they want to live free from Chinese tyranny. People who I grew up with are on the streets fighting for their freedoms. People who I spent a year in school with are out on the streets fighting for freedom, fighting against China and the CCP. It's time that we liberate Hong Kong. It's time that we finally step in and do something about 7 million people who are fighting for their lives because they are sick and tired of Chinese overlords and Chinese totalitarianism. If you may remember, in 1997, tons and tons of people left Hong Kong when rule was transferred over from the British to the Chinese in fear of things like this that China is doing right now. And 10 years later, they came back. They didn't know that China was going to do things like this. They didn't know that China was one to strip away the freedoms of those people that they had for so long. Nobody was going to know what was going to happen 10 years ago to, 10 years ago when they moved back to what's happening now. Nobody knew. And nobody should have to live in fear of being shut down, of being censored, of having to live in fear from authoritarian governments taking control of their lives. It's time to liberate Hong Kong and stand up for what is right. Help the fight to save 7 million people. People who I call brothers and sisters in arms, from being eradicated by the Chinese. I will not lose my home without fighting for what's right and protecting 7 million of my people. If Hong Kong were to fall, it'd be the first it'd just be the first step in the Chinese taking over the world. If Hong Kong were to fall, it would be a total loss to human rights and human rights activists around the world. And to think that this all started off with somebody being censored for believing what's right. Thank you.
Well, I am very, very surprised by this. When I saw the news happening, I thought it was immediately just ridiculous that this person would lose all of his winnings. Granted, it was updated, but, Blizzard, they just basically gave us this, half-assed apology that didn't really mean anything. Almost as if they wanted to, like, you've heard the phrase damage control, right?
Oh yeah, this is full damage
This
control
is full
mode for
damage
Blizzard.
control, and they're failing. A lot of people, and myself included, have gone with the boycott Blizzard protests, but really it's the higher-ups that are making this decision, and it's these people that are being influenced by the CCP, Tencent, and the Chinese government that are making these decisions for Blizzard. And it's not the people who have worked 10, 15, 20 years for the company, who love their jobs. They're the ones who are out there protesting, and I don't want them to lose their jobs at Blizzard, because it's not the people who are standing out and protesting who love their jobs, who love developing these games that so many people around the world love. It's not their fault.
Right.
They had no say in this matter. And, boycotting Blizzard, it's not just the higher-ups you'll be affecting. You're affecting people's actual lives, people who depend on going to work every day for this company. And that's something that, has dawned on me. And, sure, you've got a lot of people losing, Blizzard's losing a lot of money because people are canceling everything, which they should, but that should not affect their decision. They shouldn't fire anybody for this, because it's not their fault. If people end up being let go of this from their jobs at Blizzard because of the situation, it's just going to make things so much worse.
Yeah. And
I know I got very political and I got very somber in there, but it's a very serious issue that is near and dear to my heart. It's near and dear to everybody in my family's heart.
Yeah, because you especially had experience living there. Sorry if you're in any extraneous noises, but food has just arrived for me.
No, it's
fine.
I
Full
want to
disclosure,
go.
I have studied comparative politics, and China is absolutely an authoritarian government. But yeah, South Park really did hit the nail on the head. But that, and of course, I love the episode, of course, because of its use of heavy metal, but also the unfortunate truth of the matter is that whatever conditions come with people making money in China, whatever conditions come with that are really of little consequence, at least in the minds of those trying to seek business there. So it's a point where morals come into direct conflict with making money. I guess in the most, what's the fucking word? The prime example of morals, like making money versus moral attitude. Like this is that at this point. But yeah, I don't really play much of Blizzard's things. I haven't played Call of Duty Mobile. I've only played World War II, which I don't know. I liked it, but I just dropped it. So the campaign was great, but it was so short.
Translate. Basically, when they wrote the letter, it's basically translation. We just care about money, where the majority of our income comes from. We're gonna kiss ass and suck dick. That's basically what they said.
One thing I forgot to mention.
It's like they write our checks. 5% of the check, but okay.
One thing I forgot to mention was that there was the Hearthstone Collegiate tournament, where I believe it was American University, students from American University held up a sign in the middle of a match that said "Free Hong Kong, #boycott Blizzard." They cut away from that. They weren't kicked out of the tournament. They still had their match. They still had a match scheduled. Their next match scheduled. They
The
weren't
same-
kicked out of the tournament. They weren't fined
same one.
anything.
One in DC. Yeah.
They
Yeah,
were
that's-
nothing happened to them. So you know what they did in protest? They dropped out of the tournament because they believed it is super unfair what Blizzard is doing. They're not censoring those in the Western audiences. They're censoring those who are actually affected by censorship, who are actually fighting for their freedoms.
You want to know something funny? Like BlizzCon is coming.
BlizzCon is coming.
And how
That's
much do
gonna
you
be
want to bet
interesting.
there's going to be a ton of protests there?
Oh, there will be. There
a
will be.
lot.
This is making Diablo Immortal look like just an oopsie poopsie. I accidentally peed on the carpet. This is I set off nukes, kind of an oops situation.
Oops! Did I accidentally a war?
You want to know something funny? After Blizzard did that ban, I think their stock went down. And then Blizzard saw that and like, oh, we have to do something. I don't want our stock going down. So they basically
Whoops.
Yep. So
But
but that's really all I have to say regarding Blizzard, and I can only hope that things go in a different light. So yeah, that's all I have to say regarding that.
For that, I have to say this.
For what?
For what? For what? For standing up for myself? I'm sorry, I thought this was America.
This was America. Huh? This is America.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America.
Yeah.
It was America.
America is not all about ourselves. We think about other people too. That's just how it works.
Yes.
Anyway.
But do you want me to do this next bit, or do you want to do it? Because it's,
Well, I was thinking I could do it if you wanted me to.
Both you did talk about it previously.
you can go ahead and talk about it because I don't really have a connection.
In 100% less political news, the news of disappointment sadly don't end here, I'm afraid. AlphaDream, the creator of the popular series Mario and Luigi, has sadly gone bankrupt due to some lackluster sales and the high development costs. The Mario and Luigi series has been some of the best games that Nintendo has ever produced, with amazing stories, wonderful battle sequences, high-quality music, and are arguably some of the best RPGs with comedic values that still impress audiences today. When they're not Paper Mario sticker star levels of bad. I actually own a copy of Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga plus Bowser's Minions for the 3DS that hasn't been taken out of the packaging, but mark my words, when I'm done with this semester, I will probably open it from the Clear app and start playing and remember what could have been. My favorite game in the series that I have ever played was Mario and Luigi Partners in Time, although I hear a lot of people say Bowser's Id side story was their favorite, but that's besides the point. A lot of speculation as to why it's going bankrupt and what's going to happen to Mario and Luigi franchise now is still sadly in a huge state of limbo. When AlphaDream was making the remake, did they not see the Switch as a possibility as supportive as opposed to the now dying 3DS, or was it too expensive for them to port to Switch? What's going to happen to Mario and Luigi now? Surely Nintendo must know what to do about it, since AlphaDream has gone bankrupt. Does the Mario and Luigi franchise even exist anymore? What developers under the license of Nintendo are they going to do? There's so many questions and simply not enough answers. I can only hope that Nintendo bought AlphaDream, but unfortunately they went defunct 12 days ago. Mario and Luigi are left in a state of limbo as of right now, but hopefully in time there will be more games with a better production team from Nintendo that will give the franchise a new home. As long as they're not the current Paper Mario franchise that are giving the home. But anyway, I don't know if you guys have ever played, Mario and Luigi. It's a very good series. I would highly recommend you play that, but I just kind of wish that it didn't go bankrupt.
Yeah.
That's all.
If you saw the comments, Bruce, I have played. I've only played one of them, and it was Inside Story. I liked how quirky it was. Like the fucking one thing I remember in particular was like the cells saying Globin after every other word. The memory bank thing was kind of freaky but cool. So yeah, I guess it's unfortunate that either no other games of this series will come out unless, of course, another studio takes up the project. I don't know if that's possible.
Well, unless there's a fan project, which Nintendo will shut down after mainstream
Yeah,
journalists.
As long as it's not a ROM.
Damn it.
That's what they always do. Anyway,
I hope Pokemon Showdown doesn't get taken down because some idiots at Polygon and Kotaku was like, "Hey, look at Pokemon Showdown, guys."
Naka, what do you have to say regarding AlphaDream? I know you're not the hugest fan, but
again, RPGs aren't really my thing. But I remember Dude getting stuck in Bowser's Inside Story, and I could never, like, no matter what I did, I couldn't get out of it. And I was like,
Yeah,
well,
there's a point. There's
stuck.
a point where I got stuck too. Yeah, I think it was
I'm
like
stuck.
trying to get into the castle.
maybe when Chuck Conroy plays the game, you'll be able to follow along and finish it.
Maybe, but again, it still sucks that we have game studios shutting down for. And when you talk about AlphaDream, they made a lot of good games, a couple of bad ones. Paper Mario, Color Splash, and Sticker Star.
I don't think AlphaDream made those games.
What, they didn't make Sticker Star?
No, that was
never
made. I can let me look that up.
Look that up for me, because if it is Sticker Star and Color Splash, then I can see why.
No, AlphaDream was solely focused on Mario and Luigi.
Oh, that's good,
no,
but still.
No, it was developed by Intelligent Systems and Vanpool.
Well, they didn't have a lot of intelligence, now did they?
No, they didn't.
But again, it sucks to see, the Mario and Luigi franchise technically dead for right now, but I hope something can come out of it in the future for the Switch.
Yes, I wholeheartedly agree with that.
For now, and on to less serious topics, we have the Grandia HD Remaster.
Okay.
Grandia tells the story of Justin, the protagonist, and his companions in a race against the evil Garlisle forces to uncover the long-lost secrets of an ancient civilization. Experience the game that became an instant classic and is considered to be one of the most influential RPGs of all time. Originally released on the Sega Saturn in 97 and the PlayStation in 99, this game was met with mass appeal and won several awards from the likes of GameSpot, IGN, and the Award for Excellence at the 1997 CESA Awards, aka the Japan Game Awards. The release has enhanced UI, overhauled sprites and texture art, enhanced cinematic videos, Japanese and English voice, along with English, French, and German translation at launch, with Japanese translation added later. This game is this is the PC release that comes out on October 15th, but the Switch release came out on August 16th of this year. So this is the PC release, but we weren't able to talk about the Switch release because we weren't on the air.
No,
so I wanted to bring that up.
Yes. It does look great. I don't know if I'm glad that it's actually getting a remastered as a game, but hopefully we can see. Hopefully this game will do well on PC as well as it has been doing well on the Switch, and that's really all I have to say regarding it. It does look interesting nonetheless.
Hello, Kyle. Anyway, Krüz, do you have anything to say about it?
At this point, I've heard more about this game. Well, that's not really a logical sentence, but I heard the most of what I've heard from this game came from a great British YouTube channel, Outside Xbox and Outside Extra. They're like brother sister channels, but if you want to see like some compilation of lists, some gameplay, they're pretty good. So yeah, they had stuff about who Travis Touchdown is. And I'm like, that's quite a name.
Travis Touchdown? That's not the game we're talking about.
Yeah, we're talking about Grandia, dude.
I thought it was the other one.
No, we're talking about Grandia HD Remaster, dude.
God damn, I need to stop. What? Okay. Yeah, this one, which I know we're actually talking about now, was yeah, I was not as much of an RPG player like how it, I guess, other than Pokemon, really wasn't much in the way of RPG games I played.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, the Switch, again, this all really depends on the time I have, because I got more shit to do this semester, so I don't know, but it did look really cool. I mean, honestly, I did watch all the trailers before we went to the football game, so yeah. Honestly,
football.
It does look really cool. Sports ball. This week in sports ball.
I can't wait for that on Wednesday.
Our Steelers.
Anyway.
For that on Wednesday. Anyway, time to move on to Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville. God damn it.
There's a zombie on your lawn. Okay, go.
Of all the PopCap studios, it had to be specifically not the Seattle studio, which I've been to. I've been to that studio. That's a little upsetting. Anyways, this is a sequel
Actually,
to what
I
I
haven't
would.
been to the Bethesda studio, even though it's on Rockville Pike, and I know exactly where that is.
Anyway, this is a sequel to what I would call a mixed reviewed game, Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2. A team-based third-person shooter where players take control of sentient weaponized plants or the zombies with 20 customizable classes, 6 new to the franchise grouped into attackers, defenders, or support. There's player versus player and player versus enemy game modes alongside split-screen local multiplayer for all game modes. Like I said, there's not too much to say about this game. If you like the previous titles, then this is, this would be a good third title. But this game is set for release on PS4, PC, and Xbox One on October 18th, unless you bought the Founders Edition and got like a month early access or something stupid like that. I don't know.
I wonder if Laura Shikihara, the composer, composed this game. Probably not, but I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But what do you guys have to say about it?
I mean, I like the original Plants vs Zombies. I've never ever played the third person shooter games. I heard that they're good, but
I played a little bit of them. They're all right to me.
Yeah, they're nothing too bad. They're pretty safe as games go. But that's really all I have to say regarding them. Krüz.
He dead.
Oh, wait, my mic was muted because I was eating. I'm sorry. I thought I was saying things.
Thank you for eating off the mic.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I was gonna say. Likewise, I haven't played any of the like the games, the PvZ games that look like this. The original, I enjoyed it, but I don't know. It kind of looks like if they could make Fortnite any goofier, it probably would be this. I do like the yeah. That's a whole nother can of worms. But,
Fortnite's dead for now, but it's to generate lore for the next season.
I do like the idea of at least one of the things in the trailer that said where you can basically form like a Megazord with like 2 other people. You're weaker. Like if one of you dies, then you all die, but you're also super powerful too. I like those kind of creative ideas. I like things like that. That's pretty cool. PC, Xbox One. Again, if I'm gonna get it, it probably wouldn't be until like around Christmas. But yeah, it does look pretty cool. I'd say. I don't know how the other games were received. I know it was just like a step in a different direction.
I'd say they're mixed.
Yeah,
it's like very much different from the typical like not side scroller, just like the tower defense. That's the genre. Right. It's kind of like in the vein of tower defense. That's what the game originally was, but now it's kind of like I don't know.
Remember the game Defend Your Tower?
Defend
Your castle.
It's simply like
Defend Your castle, rather.
Like Monkey's Balloon Towers.
Balloon Tower Defense.
I used to play the shit out of that, and also Storm the House on addicting games. Yeah, throwback to that. That was my jam. Because you had to you defended a house, but you were from the perspective of a sniper on a hill. So yeah, you had your weapon. You would have to like click accordingly as like people were moving in on your family's in the house, but for some reason you're a sniper on a hill. But the story is all bullshit anyway. It doesn't matter.
Anyway,
moving on to where Game Freak dumped all its resources instead of Pokemon Sword and Shield. Ooh, that's a stab at the model, at the poor model quality and crappy animations.
You know what I was going to play? I was actually going to be playing that one clip, and I totally forgot what it was. It's the group of men who go, oh, that, and I totally forgot what it was. But anyway,
I mean, really, we didn't hear
there's
anything about this game for nearly an entire year.
Yes,
from September 2018 when it was like revealed to August 2019, nothing came from the company. Nothing came from Game Freak. And the only reason we know about it is because of the more recent Nintendo Directs. In a peaceful town, there is one rule. Don't leave it. Don't leave the town.
Mm-hmm.
One day, a boy named Axe is a savior against a monster attack.
Why does this sound like the beginning of a Stephen King story?
I mean, I don't know. There's a boy named Axe, and he is the savior against a monster attack, and the only weapons he'll need are ideas, and he'll need heavy strategy to use them effectively. Get help from townspeople and save the town. The big highlight about this game is that this is Game Freak's first foray into games outside of Pokemon, and the fact that the music was mostly made by Toby Fox, aka Undertale Man. It does look pretty good, and it releases October 16th for the Switch. And if you do buy it, and then you buy Pokemon, and if you do buy something out of Pokemon Swish, aka that's what I've dubbed Sword and Shield. Pokemon Swish instead of saying Sword and Shield.
Sword and Swish.
So
Sword-
this is
No, just Swish.
Sword, Pokemon Swish and Flicka.
so. Could you just? I'm sorry. Could you just say the beginning of Little Town Hero again? Just the first sentence.
So this is where Game Freak poured all the resources into over Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Yeah, I was expecting that. Yeah,
All right,
it's
plug
that.
your headphones back in.
Yeah. Sorry about that. But wasn't that worth it?
I mean, if I had it queued up, I could have actually had something better than that. But whatever, I don't have
Yeah.
time. I don't want to do it on stream again, like I did like I did last time I added something.
I don't think Little Town Hero is going to be a bad game. I'm pretty sure it'll be good, but I mean, Toby Fox, Undertale Man is going to be composing it, so at least we can say he's, getting more work besides, just living off the residuals of Undertale and,
Deltarune.
But hey,
The other one.
I guess we can only wait and see what happens. But that's all I have to say regarding it. So
Okay, moving on. Now we have some mini announcements because we've either already talked about these games in the past, or
they're just coming out
releases.
for different count. Yeah, go ahead.
We have Ring Fit Adventure, which we talked about a couple weeks ago already. That's coming out for the Switch on October 18th. And you do need the accessories, because if you don't, you're not playing it right, or it'll just say, hey, fuck you.
Unless you want to hold the controllers in a very specific location
All right.
in relation to each other, I guess.
Next, we have The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. This would technically be the definitive edition for the Nintendo Switch on October 15th. It's the main base game with all the expansions on the Switch, which is, I'll give credit to CD Projekt Red. They're actually doing some pretty good stuff right now. I'm having a little beer. But, let's see.
Cool.
We have Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes Complete Edition this is the Windows and PlayStation 4 release on October 17th, 2019. There are some DLCs released for the game. That's why it's called the Complete Edition. And I believe we talked about this in our little winter stint. I believe we did.
Our Wint. Shout out to Wint.
Our winter stint? I don't know.
Like,
I don't.
the thing we did before we decided to take hiatus for
Yeah,
6
if you
months.
look up the account Wint on Twitter, it's worth a look. You want a good chuckle.
I see. Okay, well,
And then our final mini announcement is that there is a tentative release date for the PlayStation 5. It is set to
Side note,
release-
that is not exactly what the
This
PlayStation
is
5
a
looks
concept render that people.
I
are
don't
using.
know. That's all it fucking gave me.
No,
like.
that's fine.
That's fine.
That's fine.
Well,
I'm not gonna
yeah, there
complain.
of course were speculations, I guess, on appearance. I don't know. Did they not actually publish like a picture of what they wanted it to look like? I mean, I don't know.
They don't post the picture until. They don't post the picture until at least next year E3. That's at the latest.
Let me rephrase it. Not like a picture of the thing, but at least some. I don't know if it's like the same thing that Xbox did with quote Project Scorpio, but like give at least an aesthetic vibe from like a video tease or something.
Mm-hmm. Well, both consoles are set to release holiday season 2020 and will most likely be fully revealed at E3 2020, as Project Scarlet is the successor to the Xbox One and the PlayStation 5 is the successor to the PS4, and of course they're going to be butting heads at around the same time. It's where they get all the money.
And Nintendo's just there. They don't really give a shit.
Yeah,
they never.
Nintendo-
They know
like,
people
we
are
already-
just going to buy their shit anyway.
I know, right?
Except the
it doesn't
Wii U.
matter.
Nobody bought that thing.
Yep.
Except
And
the Wii U, that doesn't count. And almost says the EU doesn't count, but
But for PS5, as a Sony user myself, I am very interested in this next console of what it's going to look like, what are its capabilities. Because I'm going to be honest, unless you were interested in Final Fantasy 15, Kingdom Hearts 3, or possibly the new Final Fantasy 7 remake that's going to be coming out next year, like seriously, what was the point in getting a PS4 games if 90% of its market was just HD remasters, aka remakes?
If this picture is anything to go by, this picture of it makes it kind of look like if not like an amp head,
It's a pair of pants.
like amp, like a pair of pants. Yeah, it's just like a pair of undies, but it's fucking either. I don't know, not a mixer, not with like the sliding things, but like something that goes on top of an amp, a guitar amp. Someone will know what I'm talking about, but yeah, it looks kind of like one of those. Basically, like how the front is.
PS5 joystick amped.
Yeah, I know. None of you are. Well, I can't really say that because that's a lie. Because you do own a PS2, but I kind of would have liked. Well, I kind of would have liked if you got the PS4, but maybe this will get if this console. Think about it this way. That would be so cool if this console was backwards compatible with every single PlayStation game, even though the chances are slim to none. But at least the only thing we do know about it is that it will be compatible with PS4 games, I believe. I'm pretty sure.
I would believe so. Nothing is technically confirmed, I believe, but they may have said it's like, hey, we're aiming for this.
So at least there's that, but but yeah, PS5.
The main thing with backwards compatibility issues is that a lot of the reasons why they don't pick certain games is because of music licensing. Depending on the game, depending on if these are realistic shooters that have actually licensed weapons, those would be weapon licensing, and a lot of most racing games you see aren't necessarily ported over or made backwards compatible. It's both music and vehicle licensing issues.
And then you also have to wonder about Nintendo as to whether or not, how long is Nintendo going to last? Because I remember the NX being talked about, I believe, when the Nintendo Wii was announced. It was speculated a lot.
I don't know if it was really that back then.
It was really back then. People thought
it was 2009 or was it 2006?
Yeah. Well, after the Wii was coming in the last of its life, basically.
Okay, so that makes sense. I'm sorry. I thought you were meaning when the Wii itself was announced, because we got one right about that time. Yeah.
I believe the NX was talked about.
We did a little mini stream about it, right? At one point.
When the Switch was officially revealed as the Switch.
Yeah.
I remember that.
The concept of the NX came in 2014.
I remember.
After, I believe it was the Wii U, right before the Wii U was announced, people thought that the NX was going to be the next in line, but no, it turned out it was the poorly successful Wii U. And, I don't know if it'll last probably after both the new Xbox Project Scarlet or PS5 are done, but we'll just have to wait and see because, quite honestly, I just have my PS4 and I have a year of life left in it. So let's wait and see what happens. But that's all I have to say regarding the PS5.
I want to say that because I've seen what Kyle just said in the comments. That there was something. No, I think it did say 2006. I think it was either Tumblr or Reddit post or something that said remember back in 2006 when the Wii came out and the world collectively forgot how to hold a fucking thing in its hand, such that Nintendo had to make a shock absorbing condom for the controller when you threw this thing 900 miles per hour at your TV. Actually, I've only seen one instance of a controller being thrown, and it was not thrown at the TV. It was thrown off to the side. But yeah.
And that is all.
The Wii U is 2012, Kyle.
Anyway, that is all I have to say regarding the PlayStation 5.
What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, Ghostbusters was a movie in 1986. Speaking of movies, go talk about movies, Garfy.
All right, well, we're going to just jump right ahead. We don't have...
Right into it.
I mean, our movie news are pretty general today, so we're just gonna jump right into it. Our first film that we have is yet another movie that is going to be released on streaming services as opposed to movie theaters. Man, these just keep coming out left and right.
Simulacra the movie.
Exactly. Wounds is a 2019 American-British psychological horror film written and directed by Babak Anvari and starring Armie Hammer, Dakota Johnson, and Zazie Beetz. The film is based on the novella The Visible Filth by Nathan Ballingrud. Not much is known or can be talked about with this film. Then, of course, its premiere and its director. The story follows a New Orleans bartender whose life begins to unravel after a series of disturbing and inexplicable events begin to happen when he picks up a phone left behind at his bar.
Sup, Chadu? Sorry, my friend just joined the chat. How you doing, man?
What is good, my buddy?
The director of the film is Iranian director Babak Anvari, who directed the critically acclaimed yet unfortunately ill-distributed Under the Shadow, which I heard many good things about but haven't seen. There's sadly not much to go off of this film, just a time waster if you want to waste time. I just know the director has some good work. And if you're interested, the film releases October 18th on Hulu, I believe. I'm pretty sure it's Hulu.
Netflix. It says Netflix right on the screen.
Oh,
It just said that there. How do they go?
Well, I'm fucking stupid. Anyway.
Okay,
You're one to talk. That's my gig. You will not infringe on my earnings.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I was the one who left the desktop audio muted
We all did
on
a
the
fucking
stream side during the pre-show. So we all have our case of stupidity.
Yes, we do.
Y'all did a dumb today.
No,
It's
but seriously.
It's that kind of day.
Yes, it is. But no, but seriously, Naka, what do you have to say regarding this movie?
It reminds me a bit of two things. The Meta Navigator app from Persona 5, and it is also reminding me of, Unfriended and Unfriended Dark Web. And I mean those in good ways, not bad ways.
Yeah, likewise with my comment. Yeah, it looks like. I mean, I forget what the first game was called. I think it was it also called Simulacra? There were two games, I think, by the same studio, but it was one. It's like you find a phone, and you have to find out what happened to the person, but then some like weird shit starts happening. This is literally that made into a movie, and I like that premise because it looks like with this, like, you probably feel more of the tension that goes along with it. So yeah, and I mean, it's Netflix again. Like, I guess I do notice this is a trend that's starting to really pick up. That yeah, I'll probably peep this on Netflix when I get the chance.
Anyway,
well, speaking of Netflix movies, I still need to watch El Camino.
I still need to watch El Camino myself because I completely
I forget to
saw
edit it. I have to look it up. Yeah.
I saw the entire series. I saw the entire Breaking Bad series on Netflix, and it was really good. So
Yeah, I haven't seen the whole thing, but it was one of the series my parents got into, so
I heard El Camino is actually really well done. I'll be sure to check it out next time. Anyway, do you want me to move on to our next film, which is more of a artsy film?
Before we move on, I do want to ask Chado a question. It's probably going to take him 30, 40 seconds to respond. I did make a call-out post yesterday trying to shout out my friend, Mr. Arrow HD. He was doing a 24-hour endurance race by himself, mind you. By himself, so which means there were no driver changes on iRacing yesterday to raise money for a mental health charity based in the UK called Mind. And he, along with a couple of other sim racers, Quirkitized, Jimmy Broadbent, 924 RAR Chevette, or Ian as we call him. But, I heard they raised over 40,000 British pounds. Correct me on that, Chadu. But I just want to point that out. How many laps did he actually end up doing? Just let me know in the chat, Chadu. Anyway, go ahead and move on to this next really good-looking movie.
Chad.
Yes.
First good movie Pattinson's been in since ever.
Well, I actually beg to differ because I've actually seen him in another movie that you didn't see called Good Time. Anyway,
and Harry Potter 4.
Except I don't count Harry Potter 4 because I didn't really like Harry Potter 4, but I didn't like it for Naka. Krüz, shut up.
That's me to shut up. Don't bully.
Well, looks like A24 is finally moving up in the world, but damn, the movie looks impressively well shot and beautifully well done. The Lighthouse is a 2019 horror film directed and produced by Robert Eggers, who co-wrote the screenplay with his brother Max Eggers. It stars Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson. The film is to be distributed by the critically acclaimed A24, and let's be honest, A24 has been on a roll lately. Shot in black and white, to give us an old look, the film chronicles the story of two lighthouse keepers as they are faced with solitude, but start to lose their sanity and become threatened by their worst nightmares. The director of the film is Robert Eggers, the director of the critically acclaimed horror film The Witch, that's with 2 V's, sadly I also haven't seen.
Yeah,
but seeing how...
On a little side note, that it's with 2 V's. Yeah, Dead Meat. I'm gonna watch it after this. But Dead Meat, who does Kill Counts, just covered that movie, on his channel. So
Was that uploaded today?
I believe so.
Well, I need to watch that. I watched the Candyman one yesterday. Anyway, go on.
But seeing how this film is directed by A24, one of the most popular artistic filming companies out there right now, I just may need to. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a better worded premise since A24 also didn't convey the plot very well since the trailer doesn't show too much, but honestly, I'm kind of glad they didn't. I'm a huge fan of Willem Dafoe, and thankfully, Robert Pattinson has been in some really good shit as of late, so you know what? I'm excited for it. The film is also shot in black and white as part of an aesthetic that will hopefully be pleasing to the eye. I hope it does great. The film will have a release on October 18th. Krüz, go ahead.
I really enjoy it when movies don't reveal too much in the trailer. Like, what was that one, kind of dystopian horror or like psychological horror movie? It was the Korean family who's basically just trying to make every penny count.
Parasite.
Yes, Parasite. This trailer reminds me of that trailer where not a whole lot is talked about the film, but that's what hooks you in. You got to just wonder, what's going on? I need to watch this thing. And it's not like, it's revealing too much in the trailer like some movies have done.
Right.
It's hard to do that.
Yeah.
It does kind of look like almost looks like a Twilight Zone episode of like, I think one of the quotes they showed about it in the trailer said something about like cabin fever. Yeah, it's like, I guess a prime example of like a cabin fever type movie, but like
two bros
they're going
chilling in a lighthouse 5 feet apart because they're not gay.
Yeah, they're going insane because they've only got each other company. Them like one like Defoe, Patterson, and the liquor cabinet, but that's really all they got going for them. So it looks like an interesting kind of like when people expect like a horror film, it's like not going to be like pure horror, but it's just like where they actually start to slowly lose their shit. So I think, it wasn't so both Hereditary and Midsommar were A24, right?
Anything, I'm just going to be honest. 80% of things made by A24 is literally like gold standard because they never fail. It doesn't matter how bad their films are. They never fail to. They will always intrigue you no matter what.
Yeah, I don't know if that answers my question, but like I really enjoyed Hereditary, probably the best horror movie I've seen since The Conjuring, which, to be honest, I saw when I was 18 and scared the shit out of me.
The scariest part of A24, I think, is when A24 when Hereditary. The scariest part for me was when it's literally like dead silent, and you see one of the characters literally crawl on the ceiling. And
that scene freaked me out. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah,
it's like,
but it was beautifully effective.
I agree with Char. Yeah, the black and white aesthetic does,
Oh, absolutely.
Aside from being just like you if some other studio did this, you could write off as just being like a cheesy attempt to do that, but like. Because of its topic, that's why another reason I say it looks like Twilight Zone, because it's in black and white and like it looks like it's done to achieve that kind of creepiness. And I really dig that about it. So yeah, I'm gonna try to see this as soon as I can, time permitting.
Yeah. So just keep in mind. And by the way, regarding your regarding your comment about Robert Pattinson, I really think you need to give this guy a little more slack and just
I know because I was. Thankfully, this is past, but my sister was in a Twilight phase. But then, of course, interestingly enough, that phase passed. And then when she had a bunch of her friends over, they threw she had a cardboard cutout of Robert Pattinson as Edward, and they like collectively defenestrated said cutout into the rain. So
and it
I
made
don't know,
you smile.
It was kind of funny. It was like yeah, that was a formal end to the era, I suppose.
I think Black and White is going to do this film really well. Don't you think, Naka?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything you want to say regarding this film or no?
It's just I'm glad that there's not a whole lot of plot or anything shown off in the middle of the trailer because it doesn't want to give that much away. And the fact that it's going to be in black and white it's a seller. It's a seller. It's a feature.
Yes, I agree.
Feature. Do we have to talk about this next one? Because I kind of don't.
I don't want to talk about it just as much as you do, but I have to.
The first one. I don't know why they give a shit about the second one. Something Disney money, blah blah.
Something Disney money, something Chinese Disney money, something China.
We got a problem, huh?
I don't want to talk about this movie, guys. This next movie. I really don't.
Then how about we don't?
I have to because it's probably one of the one. Well, I want to.
You just said you didn't want to, but now you're saying you want to?
Well, I want to because I want people to hear my opinion about it. So that's why I'm talking about it. You know?
And I also want
my opinion is already a control.
A new one.
Anyway, this is probably one of the ones you were looking forward to seeing, and a way to start with the bad stuff first, so I don't end with it, and instead end on a more positive note. It's finally time to talk about Disney's unfortunate apparent sequel to a live-action Disney remake to one of the most classic Disney films ever, Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, an upcoming American dark fantasy adventure film produced by Walt...
Miss Bony Cheeks herself.
Produced by Walt Disney Pictures, directed by Joaquin Ronin, and the director of Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales, and written by Linda Wolverton, known for writing a ton of Disney's animated material, as well as Micah Fitzgerald Blue and Noah Harpster from A Story by Wolverton. It is a sequel to the 2014 film Maleficent and based off the 1959 animated classic, Sleeping Beauty, and I'm using quotes here, with the term based off of, because we'll talk about that later. With Angelina Jolie returning to portray the title role, Elle Fanning, Sam Riley, Imelda Staunton, Juno Temple, and Leslie Manville also return to their previous roles, with Harris Dickinson replacing Brenton Thwaites from the first film, and Chiwetel Ejiofor, Ed Skrein, and Michelle Pfeiffer joining the cast as new characters. All right, now let's get into this plot summary of what's been going on to the sequel none of us asked for. 5 years later, after the first film, Maleficent's peaceful life as the protector of the Moors take an unexpected turn when Prince Philip proposes to Aurora and she accepts. Unbeknownst to all, Philip's mother, Queen Ingrid, plans to use the wedding to divide humans and fairies forever, with Maleficent and Aurora finding themselves on opposite sides of an impending war. The two question whether they can truly be a family. So, I'm just going to straight up go into it. So, not only did this first film hardly match the original film at all, and made Maleficent a protagonist as opposed to an antagonist, but the film is getting a sequel now because, yeah, this is what we want to see. When you think Sleeping Beauty, you definitely think sequels about Maleficent and Aurora having girl talk. So, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not excited for this movie. I hope this movie bombs. I hope this movie sucks ass. And quite frankly, I am getting sick and tired of Disney live-action remakes. And because of my rule, after seeing how much money the Lion King remake got, I am not going to see this film coming out until it probably reaches Disney Plus. And even then, I have the privilege of whether or not I want to watch it. However, I will defend it a touch, since people are possibly thinking that the first film is one of the worst absolute ever made. And for the most part, it's not. It's just that it personally affects me on a deeper level because the classic Disney film of Sleeping Beauty It's just that more interesting than the remake. And what's worse is that they completely, without any regard to the original, change a ton of elements that are just unnecessarily needed, such as the plot, characters, and tone. And to make a sequel out of it towards one of the best villains of all time just boils my anger even more. But I guess if you're that interested in seeing a Disney film to pass the time, I guess it's a perfect opportunity for you. I can't say the films are going to damage the kids. That would be an insult. But if
the kids,
but if it were up to me, I would kind of show them the original film first. If you're interested, the film releases on October 18th. You just won't see me at the theaters to watch this. Naka, Krüz, do you have anything to say regarding this movie?
Nope.
I don't think it will, quote, damage the children, but at least not in the physical sense. But yeah, I was like, wait.
Metaphorically, not physically, fuck the children.
Yeah.
Fuck the children. God, you made me snort. Fuck you. Yeah, but there's not much to go on here. I just don't know why this thing was treated as something that would maybe be so popular. Also, the protector of the Moors, that wouldn't happen to be the same Moors that invaded Spain in the 700s, right?
I don't know. There's always room for Moors.
There's always room for Moors. Bum, 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 bum.
Can we talk about satirical Nazis now?
Yes, I am getting about this movie.
Can we talk about a movie that I actually do want to go see because it's made by somebody who's actually competent at making movies?
I agree. Onward to our next film, which I am super excited to see. That also has
it's so funny.
That also has a bizarre adventure because it involves ridiculing Nazis. Hey, look at that, a JoJo Bizarre Adventures reference and a film reference altogether.
No, I'm not one.
And you know what? I love every minute of this idea. Jojo Rabbit is a 2019 black comedy film written and directed by Taika Waititi. More on him later. The film stars Roman Griffin Davis, Thomasin McKenzie, Waititi himself, Rebel Wilson, Stephen Merchant, Alfie Allen, Sam Rockwell, and Scarlett Johansson. The film had its world premiere at the 44th Toronto International Film Festival on September 8th, 2018, where it won the People's Choice Award. During World War II, lonely German boy Jojo Rabbit Butzler has his worldview turned upside down when he discovers that his single mother Rosie is hiding a young Jewish girl in the attic. Aided only by his imaginary friend in the form of an idiotic version of Adolf Hitler, Jojo must confront his ideology. The film is directed by Taika Waititi, the director of the massively popular blockbuster Thor Ragnarok. This film is actually a unique take on what it means to be a Nazi growing up, but it is written like a satire. And I am here for this shit. Not only does the film make fun of Nazis at an unprecedented level, but it shows you how much damage they can really do if no one decided to defeat them. Top it all off with the director of the soon-to-be advertised Thor Love and Thunder, and you have possibly one of the best hilarious films you can ever achieve to distribute. And it looks like it's going to be a good one. I would talk more about this, but it looks like a fun film with some artistic elements that there's really not much to be said regarding it. If you're interested, the film releases on October 18th. Naka, what do you have to say regarding this? Because I mean, here for this.
You've got the voice actor for Wheatley in this movie.
Where?
Stephen Merchant.
Oh shit! Yeah, you're right. Holy cow! I did not know that. And then you have Taika Waititi.
Let's see, Taika. He plays Taika Waititi directs a movie making fun of Hitler, but plays Hitler in the movie.
Exactly.
Bob.
What about
anytime you get to make fun of Nazis and how stupid they were and their ideologies were fucking stupid, it's great. Everything's great.
I kind of want Shudder to see this word,
but there's also that there were a lot of them, and especially the higher ups were, they were high off their asses on like speed and coke. I mean, seriously. But yeah, it looks like a genuinely funny movie versus being like, fuck Nazis.
I love that.
Me and my virtue signaling, fuck off.
For the record, I love that you have "I'm a Believer" and David Bowie's "Heroes" in German, sung in German. Not gonna lie, that's actually kind of hilarious.
Like,
Krüz, I understand, like, you have worries about, virtual signaling, Nazis are banned, ew. But this is a satire. It's not supposed to be entirely politically correct.
Yes.
I mean, it's a black comedy. They're going to
True.
say some very fucked up things.
I have
I kind of wonder if
one of the sites where, I'll just say the name Sachsenhausen, but honestly, you gotta have a way that looks at it you can actually make fun of it. I don't know. That's it. I like a way that makes it's not about it's not the topic, but it's just the prospect of grandstanding. I really don't like. Versus, there's another movie that is also a satire regarding the leader of the Third Reich. It's called Guess Who's Back, and it is on Netflix, and I've seen it. It's pretty good. It's in German, but it's got subtitles.
So you want to know something funny? Oh, go ahead.
This movie looks like it's a good I guess addition to that kind of vein of like good movies, because like
I will have to wonder if Germany is going to allow this film to be seen in their theaters, if only because the swastikas are banned in Germany, and for good reason.
I mean, yeah, but also like I don't know. I actually don't know, because like, yes, I've been to Germany twice, but I don't know if that means that it's banned like either like in games and movies. Like, if you play Wolfenstein, you see the swastika. In movies that feature the Nazis, you see the same thing. But sorry,
Sports Center.
Sorry. Da-na-na, da-na-na. Yeah,
Is that Sports Center?
Yeah, sorry, just turn my phone silent. I was looking up something. But yeah. I mean, I guess it's okay if it's like in a movie, because it's like it's not in a permanent fixture. Like, it's illegal in Germany to fly the Nazi flag. It's illegal to do that. So like, to put the logo on any permanent place, I guess, is illegal. But for it to appear on screen, like in a movie or in a game, I guess could be forgiven because it's not a permanent fixture, so to speak. Whereas if you take a screenshot of it and quote that up, then that would be a different story.
I kind of would. I mean, Naka, I kind of would hope that this film is actually shown in Germany, wouldn't you?
I mean, yeah.
I imagine so, because of Welt was it? I forget the word like for world guilt in German, but yeah, that's yeah. So that's very appropriate in Germany. Also, fun. I don't know, not a fun fact, but like a little known fact that I noticed when the first time I went to Germany, that they always whenever they refer to the Nazi Party, they always say National Socialist. They always say that specifically. And I guess because that was the name of it. But like, I noticed that was with this, they don't say the word Nazi, they say National Socialist. But yeah, that's weird. Enough talk about that shit.
Yeah.
It's like, we weren't going to get demonetized.
but
Naka, you do want to see this film.
Yes.
All right. I'm glad to hear that.
And I want to see this next one very bad.
You guys. Okay, I have a
it for Dale.
I have a big story to tell you guys with this next one coming up. Well, guys, here it is. The moment you've been waiting for, because, oh, sweet Jesus, the laughs do not end here. Do I have a lot to talk about with this film? Zombieland Double Tap is an upcoming American zombie comedy film directed by Ruben Fleischer and written by Rhett Russi, Paul Wernick, and David Callahan. A sequel to the first Zombieland, with Fleischer also directing. The film stars Woody Harrelson, Jesse Eisenberg, Emma Stone, Abigail Breslin, and Bill Murray, all reprising their roles from the first film, joined by the additional cast consisting of Rosario Dawson, Zoe Deutsch, Luke Wilson, Thomas Middleditch, Avan Jogia, and Dan Aykroyd. That's funny. Now, before I get into the plot, I do have to talk about something that does seem to be making a lot of sense.
Why my crystal had vodka? I'm Dan Aykroyd. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Go on.
Yeah. All right.
For those of you who don't know, the writers of the film consists of Rhett Russi and Paul Wernick, a duo of sorts in terms of productive and incredible screenwriting. From writing 2 Deadpool films to the lesser-known projects such as G.I. Joe Retaliation and Life. They're also working on a Netflix film called Six Underground, which we'll discuss in due course. Stripperland.
Probably.
But that's a whole other story. You also have David Callahan, who also wrote the first Expendable films with the later franchise, which belonged to him, and is going to be working on the new Wonder Woman movie released in 2020. I guess the biggest question you're wondering, why does the writing matters? When the first film released, audiences loved it, critics loved it, it won a ton of awards, and was cemented as one of the best comedies ever made. And then after it premiered, talks of a beginning of a sequel was in development. The film released in 2009, while the sequel we're now getting is being released in 2019. What the hell happened all that time? Apparently, while the writers were working on the scripts, there were a ton of other writing opportunities that they had to work on, so the script was mostly left hung to dry of sorts. And questions were still being asked as to whether or not this film is actually coming out. The writers kept working on it, throwing out all kinds of ideas with it as to what to do with it next yet, apparently. 10 years is enough, since you practically got all of the original creators back as well as the cast. So without further ado, let's talk about the story. Set 10 years after the original film, appropriately enough, the premise follows 4 people based off their birth origin named Columbus, Tallahassee, Wichita, and Little Rock, who are still traveling the post-apocalyptic Zombieland, zombified land of the U.S., to move to the American heartland as they face off against evolved zombies, fellow survivors, and the growing pains of the snarky makeshift family. What's so interesting about this trailer is that after the trailer released, I had 3 people showing this trailer.
Yeah, so at this point, the stream went down, and it went down hard. What had happened is the internet wasn't, being choppy or anything. It just completely cut out for both me and my neighbors, who have confirmed that their internet went out at the same time for about 10-15 minutes during the stream. It's unfortunate that Scarfy was cut off during Zombieland Double Tap, but we will put his description down of the film in the description down below, and we might have it as, a post on like a twit longer or something like that. But yeah, we will have the description of Zombieland Double Tap in the description most likely, or as a pinned comment right at the top of the video when this releases. We are going to be saving our coming attractions for, I believe, next week, and if we don't do that, they are already on our Twitter page under a big thread. But yeah, this really sucks. I wasn't hoping that we'd have an episode come to this, but it's really just what happened, and yeah, we decided to leave it a little bit in from when we were talking about what exactly happened and everything, and decided to cut it, and that's what you're about to hear now. We will be back, and I will say it again in the next piece, on October 20th, 2019, with, at your same time, same destination, same everything. Again, we hope to have a safe stream and stable stream next week, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens, and, hopefully the cards are in our favor. We'll see you next week. Cheers. Scarfy, do you just want to cut it here?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so, we are live right now, and basically Xfinity just went down for about 10 minutes right there.
What happened?
It went out. I don't know what happened. It was working one moment, and then everything died.
Should we cut it here? Or do you want to finish the
Let's see. All you'd have left is basically us kind of talking about Zombieland 2 Double Tap, and then we have all the coming attractions, which we already have on the Twitter page.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we should just cut it here.
So, we're technically live right now, just informing people, hey, shit happened.
Alright.
So, that's an unfortunate way to end this week's episode of Subwuffer Entertainment Treehouse, but it was something that literally nobody could control. And I was expecting like 10, 20 minutes, but it was more like just 10 minutes. So, yeah, unfortunately, nothing's ever going to be perfect, and this really sucks. But hopefully we'll get this out. We'll salvage whatever we have, and we'll get this out as soon as possible. And we will see you guys next week. Or, Sunday the 20th. Because I'll cut up a little bit of this in here, just saying, hey, shit happened. And yeah, we'll see you guys on the 20th of October.
Yes, we will.
Take care, guys. Again, I'm so sorry that this happened, but there was, other than resetting the router, which would have taken 5-10 minutes. Yeah, that was it. So,
Your next best thing was to call customer support, but that takes forever. So.
yeah, that would have taken much, much longer, and the problem would have already been solved by then. So,
Yeah.
well, this sucks. We may have I think we probably got attacked by the Chinese a little bit.
Oh,
Maybe
you
we
could potential title change. China sabotages our stream.
Maybe
We'll
we
have to
did.
wait and see what happens. Maybe we did.
I don't know.
Anyway.
But that is it. We will see you guys later. Take care, guys.
Goodbye, friends. We love you.